Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Is everyone able to hear my voice? Those joining on YouTube also, is they on the Zoom connection, is the voice audible? Okay. I'm getting a few messages saying that it is positive. Thank you. So I want to offer my obeisances to all the wonderful Vaishnavas who have assembled, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who have assembled for this discussion. We have devotees over Facebook and we have devotees here on Zoom, also being broadcasted live on YouTube. So all the devotees who are present in all these platforms and forums, I offer my obeisances unto you. I wish all of you happy Narsimha Chaturdasi. For those who have just started their vrat, I hope it is going good. I hope you are remembering, hearing, chanting, and very affectionately offering service to Narasimha Dev. And for those who have already celebrated Narsimha Chaturdasi, I hope and pray that you had a very wonderful, Krishna conscious, very auspicious, very blissful, very absorbing, very beneficial day of fast. Narsimha Chaturdasi is the holy appearance day of Narasimha Dev. And Narasimha Dev has been described by Jayadev Goswami to be one of the prominent 10 incarnations of Keshava Sri Krishna. Jayadev Goswami says, Tava kara kamala vare nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranya kashipu tanu bhringam Keshava dhrita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare. He says, my Lord, I offer my obeisances unto you. Tava kara kamala, your hands, kara, your palms are kamala, are as soft as lotus. The palms through which you touch the auspicious head of Prahlad Maharaj are very soft, very benedicting, like lotus. Tava kara kamala vare nakham adbhuta shringam. While the tip of the nails that emanate from these lotus hands, they are as sharp as nails, are as sharp as thunderbolts. They're not just nails as far as those which emanate from the fingertips, they're also as sharp as thunderbolts. Nakham adbhuta, and they are marvelously astonishing. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bhringam, that Hiranyakashipu who cannot be destroyed by all the demigods put together, 330 million demigods or 33 crore demigods, they were trembling in fear and shock, seeing the wrongdoings of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had completely toppled all the rules of morality. If someone was performing pious activities, he would get impious results. And if someone was performing impious activities, he was getting pious, very happy results. So demigods, the controllers of this world, could not do anything. They were helpless. But that Supreme Lord Narasimha Dev, Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bhringam. Tanu means body and Bhringa means to tear into pieces. Narasimha Dev, with those nails, he tore Hiranyakashipu to pieces and benedicted Prahlad with those soft lotus hands. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bhringam Keshava Dhrita. Keshava means Krishna, the killer of Keshi. Dhrita, he held a form. Nara Hari Rupa. Nara Hari. Nara means human-like and Hari means lion-like. It is not a lion, it is not a human. It is a transcendental form which is beyond any identification with either humanity or the animal kingdom. So Nara Hari Rupa. Nara Hari has many meanings. The prominent meaning is Nara means man and Hari means a lion. Also, the word Hari means the Supreme Lord. So when the Supreme Lord appears in a human-like form, we are not saying human form, but human-like form, he is Nara Hari. Also, the word Hari refers to Sarvam Amangalam Hare, he who takes everything inauspicious. So he took away the inauspiciousness of Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, he is Nara Hari. At the same time, the word Hari also refers to Hare Man, he who kidnaps the heart. So that form of Narasimha Dev, it kidnapped the heart of not just Prahlad Maharaj, but also great demigods like Indra. It has been described by Srila Sridhar Swami in the commentary to the Srimad Bhagavatam that in the 7th canto, in his Bhavartha Deepika, that Indra was so absorbed in meditation, always fearing Hiranyakashipu. So even when he would try to remember Vishnu, the form of Hiranyakashipu would come in his meditation. So as a result, now Narasimha came in such a intense form, in such a horrifying form, Ghoram, such a Bhibatsa, Bhayanaka, Raudra Rupa, that now when, from this point on, when Indra started meditating on Vishnu, he would be captivated by this form. This form completely eclipsed the form of Hiranyakashipu and took over the throne of the heart of Indra and other demigods. Therefore, Hare Man. Hari also took away the meditative capacity, the meditative faculties of the demigods. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jagat Isha, he is the Lord of this universe. So in this way, Narasimha Dev has been glorified by Jayadev Goswami very beautifully in his Dashavatar Stotra, which is the introduction to the Gita Govinda. Now someone may ask, an astonishing work like Gita Govinda, which deals with the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, why would you start this work by remembering forms like Narasimha Dev? Someone may ask this question, that the two transcendental twins, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangri Prabhu, have been established and given the service of being pujaris in Mayapur. Jananivas Prabhu is serving Radha Madhav with Ashtasakhi, while Pankajangri Prabhu, his transcendental twin, who was given the service by Prabhupada to serve Mayapur along with his brother, is serving Narasimha Dev. So how to reconcile this? When Pankajangri Prabhu was asked this, Pankajangri Prabhu said, this is a very sweet mood of worship of Narasimha Dev. Oftentimes, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are considered to be worshippers of Radha and Krishna. So how does worshipping a very intensely fear-inducing form as Narasimha Dev, how the worship of such a form falls in proper accordance to the worship of Radha and Krishna as Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Pankajangri Prabhu very beautifully answered by saying that we are all worshipping Radha and Krishna to get to the land of Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the worship of Radha and Krishna and the glory of the land of Vrindavan. However, because we are not completely qualified to get to there, that standard of worship, we are filled with anarthas or different kinds of vices in our heart. Pankajangri Prabhu said, worship of Narasimha Dev helps in removing those obstacles on the path of Radha Krishna. So it is not a different path altogether. It is a very favorably progressive path where Narasimha Dev, with the tip of his nails, he uproots all the speed breakers on our path. And then with the palm, the lotus palm, he benedicts us with all good fortune on our path to worshipping Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Also, Pankajangri Prabhu mentioned a very beautiful point in this regard. He said, all the Vrajvasis, whenever they have a problem, they take shelter of Govardhan. Just like we see when Indra threw thunderbolts, everyone, including Radha and Krishna, they took shelter of Govardhan. Therefore, Govardhan, Giriraj Govardhan, is considered to be the tilak of Vrindavan. You can see him from all places in Brajmandal in his actual transcendental form of 8 miles. However, with different transcendental reasons, we are not able to see Giriraj like the moment, but through Shastra Chakshu, through the Shastra, we can Giriraj is undoubtedly the Tilak, the most prominent personality, Haridasa Varya, the best among servants of Sri Hari. So even when Radha and Krishna have problems in Vrindavan, apparently to augment their Leela, they take shelter of Govardhan. And all the Vrajvasis take shelter of Govardhan. But however, when those associates of Radha and Krishna appear in Navadvip, as Radha and Krishna appear in one form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is no Govardhan in Navadvip. Therefore, that potency of taking shelter of Govardhan, that is seen by the Navadvip Vasis taking shelter of Narasimha Dev. We see in Narsimha, in Gaura Leela, so many instances where Advaita Acharya invokes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by worship of the Narsinga Shaligram Shila. We see Srivas Thakur when he is hearing rumors of how the Qazi is sending soldiers to kill him. Srivas Thakur, he closes his doors and he worships a Narsimha Shaligram Shila. He takes shelter of Narsingadev. Also, we see examples where during the Shraddha ceremony of Srivas Thakur's father, the Vishnu Sahasranam or the Brihat Sahasranam is chanted, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes the mood of Narasimhadev in transcendental ecstasy just by hearing the name Narasimha. Also, we see pastimes of Chand Kazi, when the Muslim ruler, he breaks the Mridanga to stop the Sankirtan party. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leads that party to the house of Chand Kazi, and Chand Kazi he wants to speak to Mahaprabhu in private. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have no privacy. They are all my private associates. So you can speak whatever you want in their presence. And it's so beautifully described that Chand Kazi reveals his heart to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I broke this Mridanga, and in my dream I saw this transcendental, humongously big and very fear-inducing golden lion who jumped on my chest, and with his sharp nails he was scratching my chest. And Chand Kazi reveals those scratch marks on his chest to Narasimhadev, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he mentioned that Narasimhadev in the dream told Chand Kazi that now I'm just giving you some marks on the chest to remember. But if you continue your atrocities like Hiranyakashipu, I will perform some surgery on you. So in this way, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas are completely honey-laden with the presence of Narasimha's role as the protector of the Dham. So therefore, just like Govardhan gives protection to Vrajvasis in Vrindavan, although Govardhan can give protection everywhere, the mood of the Vrajvasis is such that while being in Vrindavan, they take shelter of Govardhan. Similarly, that Vrindavan Dham appears as Navadvip. When Radha and Krishna appear as Chaitanya, the Vrajvasis appear as Navdeep or Gaur Bhaktas, the Navdeep Vasis. Similarly, the protective potency of Govardhan manifests as Narasimhadev. So by taking shelter of Narasimhadev, we are not going away from Radha Krishna, but we are actually taking shelter in the mood of the Navdeep Vasis. We are taking shelter of Narasimhadev so that we can enter the mood of Navadvip as an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ultimately to dance in the courtyard of Srivas Pandit with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the chanting of Harinam Sankirtan, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will one fine day benedict us with Radha and Krishna Prem. So in this way, one should never think that worship of Narasimhadev is in any way away from achieving our actual goal. So therefore, it is very, very important that every devotee, irrespective of whether we want to go to the eternal Saket Dham, Ayodhya Dham of Ramachandra, or we want to be a Dwarkavasi or a Vrajvasi or a Vaikunthavasi, it is always beneficial for physical protection and for spiritual protection to pray to Narasimhadev, because Narasimhadev can protect us. You see, it's very important that we protect the creeper of our devotion from the mad elephant called as Aparad. We understand that an elephant can be destroyed by a lion. So the elephant can be destroyed by a lion. We understand small creepers can be eaten even by goat. Goat and sheep can also eat up small creepers. So our devotion is Bhakti Lata. It's not a tree, it's a small creeper. So that creeper can be eaten up even by goat in this world. What to speak of letting in a mad elephant called Vaishnava Aparad or Seva Aparad or Nam Aparad, Dham Aparad. So therefore, to destroy the elephant of offenses, we need a lion, because the lion can pull down an elephant in a forest. Therefore, we take shelter of Narasimhadev who as a transcendental lion can protect us from even great aparad like Vaishnava aparad, Dham aparad, Nam aparad, Jiva aparad, Seva aparad, etc. So three reasons we mentioned. By worshipping Narasimha Dev, the roadblocks on our path of Radha Krishna worship, they can be removed. The speed breakers can be uprooted. Second, worshipping Narasimha Dev is in the mood of the worship of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the pastimes of Chaitanya Leela, so that we go towards the path of worshipping Radha and Krishna in the mood of a Navdeep Vasi. And three, the lion of Narasimha's potency can pull down the elephant of our offenses. So in this way, by these three reasons, worshipping Narasimha Dev will only bring in good fortune in our life. So today, with that introduction, we have a very beautiful discussion. I want to share something that is very faith-inducing in the heart of the devotees. Oftentimes, we hear stories of Narasimha Dev from the life of other devotees, and we are very receptive to those stories. We respect and appreciate those stories, but those stories just completely pull up our strings of faith when they happen to us in real life. So this morning I want to share something that occurred in a very significant way in the life of this insignificant devotee. In this morning, while chanting during Brahma Muhurta, I was trying to offer my obeisances and prayers to Narasimha Dev, and very specifically, I was trying to remember Narasimha Dev in Ahobilam. Ahobalam or Ahobilam is a very auspicious, very powerful, very purifying place, a dham in South India. And it is known for the Nava Narsimhas, the 9 forms of Narasimhas. So this morning, as I was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I tried to remember the Ahobala Narsimha Murti. And it was very peaceful, very wonderful Brahma Muhurta on the day of Narsimha Chaturdasi to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and remember Narsimha Dev. And devotees, I want to share my heart and say this for truth, how the Lord reciprocates. Maybe some devotees will feel hilarious that I'm sharing this, but I felt very touched by this reciprocation. As soon as I finished my 16 rounds and I looked at the phone to see if there are any emails or messages, I saw a message from a very dear devotee, friend, and I clicked that. Many messages about Narasimha Chaturdasi, etc. So this was the first message. I just clicked, there was a video. I clicked that link, and believe it or not, that was the link of darshan of Ahobal Narsimha. That devotee was speaking in my mother tongue, in Tamil, was discussing the glories of this place and how this place is very, very purifying, such a sanctifying place, a dham. The arati of the Lord was shown. He was describing how steep the steps are. He was describing how even monkeys here are great sages from past life, who are great devotees of Narasimha Dev, who are so absorbed and so attached to this dham of Ahobalam that they're ready to become monkeys to be close to Narasimha Dev and not become humans outside. So I felt very, very touched that Narsimha Dev reciprocates to our chanting of the holy name. When we try with even, it may not be 100% sincerity, but with some amount of sincerity, when we try, the Supreme Lord genuinely reciprocates. So I did not receive Ahobala Narsimha Darshan yesterday or won't receive it tomorrow. Well, maybe it is because it is Narsimha Chaturdashi, that is true. But what is the probability that that same deity that we are trying to remember appears in the video? It could have been Mayapur Narsimha Dev, it could have been Narsimha Dev somewhere else. And even in the Ahobila Kshetra, there are 9 Narsimhas. So the Narsimha, the specific Narsimha Dev that I was trying to remember was the Narsimha Dev that this video was being circulated. So in that way, I just want to request all the devotees that Narsimha Dev is very kind. Ugra api anugraha evayam swapotanam Rukeshari. Sridhar Swami describes that although the Supreme Lord is Ugra for his devotees or those who are trying to be devotees, he is Anugra Murti. For Hiranyakashipu, he is Ugra Murti. But if we sincerely try to approach him, that Ugra becomes Anugra. Anugraha. Anugraha Murti. So therefore I thought today's discussion that we have here, we will try to hear more about Ahobila Narsimha, because I just want to offer my obeisances to the form which gave a lot of peace and satisfaction today. So in the Brahmanda Puran, there is a very beautiful verse describing Ahobila Kshetram in South India. Aho Viryam, Aho Shauryam, Aho Bahu Parakramaha, Narasimham Param Devam, Aho Balam, Aho Balam, Aho Balam, Aho Balam. This word comes from this verse. The Brahmanda Puran describes when Narasimha Dev tore open the pillar and he appeared. What happened? The demigods were so shocked that some demigods started saying, Aho Viryam! Oh, see how this form is so chivalrous. Aho Shauryam! Look, he's so brave. And Aho Bahu Parakrama! Look at his arms. They are so scary. They're ready for a battle. Narasimham Param Devam. Oh, he is Narasimham. His form is half man and half lion. And Param Devam, he is indeed the Supreme Lord. Aho Balam, Aho Balam. Oh, what great strength. Oh, what great strength. It is described that this is the place where Narasimha appeared. And therefore this place is called Ahobala Kshetram. That Kshetra, that place where the demigods witnessed the form of Narasimha Dev to be very horrifying. And they called out in shock, what great strength, what great strength. This place, Ahobala Kshetram in South India, has been described as one of the 108 Divya Deshas. You know, there is a Divya Desham. Divya Desham means a sanctified holy dham. So in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are 108 Divya Deshams, holy dhams that one must visit in one's life. And Ahobala Kshetram is one out of those 108. It has also been described that Ahobala Kshetram is the place where Lord Shiva came. Lord Shiva is the Vinashamurti. He is the form who is in charge of the total cosmic annihilation. So Lord Shiva, before he could annihilate and bring in cosmic annihilation, he came to Narsimha Dev here and he offered obeisances. And he asked blessings from Narsimha Dev that I want to perform this service as Rudra to bring in total cosmic annihilation. Please kindly empower me. And it was Narasimha Dev who gave a portion of his potency, of his power to Lord Shiva. And also in Lord Shiva's ear, Narasimha Dev chanted the mantra by which there can be total cosmic annihilation and Lord Shiva will be untouched by it. So we know Lord Shiva to be Mrityunjaya, the Lord who has conquered death. He is also called Amarnath, the Lord of immortality. So Lord Shiva receives these names because he performs the act of total annihilation while he remains untouched. And those mantras and those ways of performing this service was taught to Lord Shiva by Narasimha Dev here in Ahobala Kshetra. Also, there is another beautiful story as to how this place gets its name. It is described that the Lord's order carrier Garuda, he had a desire to see, to have direct audience of the Supreme Lord's form. So Garuda came to the Nallamalai hills in South India and he sat there, and for thousands of years, he in contemplative meditation, Garuda offered obeisances and was in complete rapt samadhi, remembering the form of Narasimha. As a result of which, after thousands of years of tapasya, the Supreme Lord appeared in a cave, and Garuda got a hint in his heart that the Lord has appeared in a nearby cave. So Garuda, flapping his transcendental wings, he flew and saw the form of the Lord in one of the caves, and that place is called Aho Bilam. Bila also means a hole or a cave. So that place where the Supreme Lord appeared in a cave, Garuda named it as Aho Bilam. Oh, what a great cave, which has become completely lit up by the effulgence of Narsimha Dev's potency. It is described there, after having darshan of Narsimha Dev, Garuda offered the choicest poetic verses and prayers. He offered his obeisances repeatedly. He circumambulated the Lord, and then he flew far and wide to spread the glories of Ahobala Narasimha. So one history says Ahobala, where the Lord is very, very powerful by the utterance of the words of the demigods, while another history says this is Ahobila, where this is the great cave where the Lord appeared. The Shastra describes the 9 murtis in Ahobala Kshetra. What are the 9 Narsimha murtis? The verse says, Jwala Ahobala Malola Kroda Karanja Bhargava Yogananda Kshatravata Pavano Navamurtayaha. So Jwala, Ahobila, Malola, Kroda, Karanja, Bhargava, Yogananda, Chatravata, and Pavana. These are the Navamurtis, the 9 Narasimhas. So Jwala Narasimha, Ahobala Narasimha, Malola Narasimha, Kroda Narasimha, Karanja Narasimha, Bhargava Narasimha, Yogananda Narasimha, Chatravata Narasimha, and Pavana Narasimha. So in this way, these are the Nava Murtayaha. Jwala Hobala Malola Kroda Karanja Bhargava Yogananda Chatravata Pavana Nava Murtayaha. These are the Nava Narasimhas in Ahobala. And very quickly, we can discuss about all of these 9 murtis. And towards the end, I will focus more on the Narsimha Dev that I was meditating. So we'll keep the cherry at the end. We'll keep the sweet at the end. Of course, all forms are sweet, but with respect to the reciprocation. So starting with Bhargava Narsimha, it is described that Bhargava Narsimha is the Narsimha Dev that Parshuram personally worshipped. There is a Akshaya Tirtha in Ahobala Kshetram, and on the banks of Akshaya Tirtha, Parshuram would sit and perform meditation. He would take water from the Akshaya Tirtha and he would worship Bhargava Narsimha. Because Narsimha Dev is worshipped by Parshurama, who's mentioned to be a descendant of Bhrigu Muni, therefore he's called Bhargava Narasimha. This is the first Narsimha to be described. Second Narsimha is called as Chatravata Narsimha. So Chatravata Narsimha is interesting. As we know the word Chatravat. Chatravat means a shade, a canopy. So this Narsimha is sitting under the shade of People Vriksha, the people tree. And the speciality of this Narsimha Dev is that he has one hand in a very specific mudra. Very specific mudra. He has a very nice posture with his hand. And at the same time, he has a very wide, pleasing smile on his face. So all the Nava Narsimhas are in different moods. Not all of them are angry and fear-inducing in the heart of Hiranyakashipu. So Bhargava Narsimha, the one worshipped by Parshuram, Chatravat Narsimha, that Narsimha Dev who's sitting under the canopy of the people tree and has a very wide smile on his face and very beautiful gesture in his hand. The third is Pavana Narsimha. So Pavana Narsimha is on the banks of the Pavana Nadi in Ahobala Kshetram. And at the same time, he is the most peaceful form out of the 9 forms. So Pavana also means uplifting and purifying. So the person who, the devotee who has darshan of this deity will be uplifted. Actually, every deity has a specific benediction. Bhargava Narsimha has the benediction. Anybody who comes and has darshan of Bhargava Narsimha, Parshuram personally with his axe will protect that devotee, apart from Narasimha Dev. Chatravat Narsimha that we described, anyone who takes darshan of Chatravat Narsimha, it is described that he will be kept under the shade, the canopy of Narsimha's protection amidst the hot, scorching sunlight of material threefold miseries. Pavana Narsimha is that Narsimha by having darshan of whom the consciousness becomes very pleased, because this is the most pleasing form of Narasimha Dev, and one gets uplifted and purified. Pavitram, Pavananam, Pavanam Pavananam, very auspiciously uplifting. The fourth is called Yogananda Narsimha. So Yogananda Narsimha is that form of Narsimha where he's sitting in Padmasana and he has a yoga patta or a yogic cloth around his legs, around his waist and his legs. So what is the glory of this Narsimha Dev? Yogananda Narsimha was that Narsimha, Yoga Ananda. Ananda means happiness, and yoga means connecting with the Supreme Lord. So who connected with the Supreme Lord here? Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was taught yogic postures by Narasimha Dev. So sometimes we hear devotees say there is no need of yoga. Just by practicing bhakti yoga, everything is achieved, which is correct as far as God realization is concerned. But to perform more service through this body, especially in a generation where we live with pollution problem and population explosion and contamination of water and air and soil, etc., to live long and healthy, it's always good to exercise and have yogic time allotted every day. So Narasimha Dev personally taught Prahlad Maharaj yogic postures. Very happily, he taught Prahlad Maharaj yogic postures here. And Narsimha is seen here sitting with cross-legged Padmasan. So therefore, he's called Yoga Ananda Narasimha. The fifth Narasimha Dev is Kroda Narasimha. So Kroda refers to Varahadev, is another name for a boar. So Kroda Narasimha is that form of Narasimha where Narasimha Dev is sitting. He's found in this form, but his face is that of Varahadev. So oftentimes he is also called as the Varaha Narasimha temple in Ahobila. So he's called as the Kroda Narasimha. The Lord is in the mood or in the form of Varahadev. So what do we gain by Yogananda Narasimha's darshan? By having Yogananda Narasimha's darshan, we are sure of getting positively connected to the Supreme Lord, back home, back to Godhead after this life. Yoga, the perfection of yoga, yujati means to connect. So by having Yogananda Narasimha's darshan, we please the Supreme Lord. Because you see, to get to Ahobila, now it's a very interesting thing. Ahobila Kshetram has so many steps, and the Lord has made it so inaccessible on the top of a mountain amidst the forests. Why? Some people may ask that Narsimha Dev, if we had all these temples on the street, we could have just crossed the street and had darshan. Well, when anything is made easily accessible, we lose value for it. Malaye bhilla purandri chandana taru kashtham indanam cha kurute ati parichayad avajna. This is the sutra. Ati parichayad avajna. If something is made very easily accessible, then we take it for granted. If a tribal lady lives on top of the sandalwood tree mountain with a lot of sandalwood trees found there, when she feels very cold, she will cut down these sandalwood trees and make a bonfire just to relieve her, to give her some heat during the winter. But she doesn't realize that she is losing lakhs and lakhs of rupees in the form of the sandalwood, which is very costly. So, but she thinks, even if I lose a few trees, that's fine, because I have so many trees, I have no problem. But someone who has only one sandalwood tree, he will keep it very safe. So therefore, when things are rarely given, we know the value of it. When it is achieved after hardship, it pains to lose. But when something is easily attained, it doesn't pain to lose it very easily. So therefore, Narasimha Dev doesn't keep the darshan so easily accessible, because then everybody will take this darshan would take this for granted. And even if they don't have darshan, they don't think they're losing anything. But when it is so inaccessible, when you have to climb like 500 steps to go up and see Narasimha Dev amid such steep steps on the top of the mountain, amid so much trees and steep valley, then it is a big, in the heart we feel a big sense of achievement that we have climbed up and we have seen the Lord. So we are always excited to see the form of the Lord, and that is the price we pay to achieve him. So that is Yogananda Narsimha. Kroda Narsimha, just like Varahadev, he uplifts Mother Earth. Kroda Narsimha, by darshan, he uplifts our consciousness. So that is the fifth Narsimha. The sixth Narsimha is called as the Karanja Narsimha. Karanja Narsimha is sitting under a Karanja tree, and just like we saw Chatravat Narsimha with his hand in a specific gesture, in a specific mudra, we see Karanja Narsimha holding the Sharanga Bho. He has the bow, Sharanga. Therefore, Sharanga Dhanva Gadadhari iti astram Rathanga Pani Rakshobhya iti netram Trisama Samagassameti Kavacham. In the Vishnu Sahasranam we see Sharanga Dhanva Gadadhara iti astram. The Lord is holding the Sharanga bow. So here, the Karanja Narsimha sitting under the Karanja tree, in the shade of the Karanja tree, holding the Sharanga bow in his hand. This is the 6th Narsimha. Now there are 3 more Narsimhas to go, which we will discuss in some detail. Starting with Malola Narsimha. This is the 7th Narsimha in our discussion, but this is considered to be a very prominent Narsimha Dev. Malola Narsimha. What is the history of Malola Narsimha? It is described that after the pastime of Prahlad and Narsimha Dev, it is described when Narsimha Dev appeared in Ahobilam and he was residing there. On one of the nights of annihilation, as we understand, Brahma, when he goes off to sleep at night, at the night of every day that he has, there is a partial annihilation. And at the end of his life, there is a total annihilation. So in one of the nights when Brahma dozes off, it is described, oftentimes we see Asuras come and they steal the Vedic knowledge from Brahma and they try to misuse it because there is so much knowledge in the Vedas. So on one fine occasion, when Brahma was resting, it is described that the 4 Vedas got lost. So Brahma came here to pray to Narsimha Dev, to personally talk to Narsimha Dev. But when he came and saw Narsimha Dev here, Brahma ran away back to Narasimha Loka because the Lord is so horrifying in Ahobilam. So Brahma ran away. But then again he mustered some courage and he came and he offered his prayers. So Narasimha Dev said, first of all, you tell me, why did you see me and run away? Brahma offered his obeisances and he said, my Lord, your form is so intense. It is so fear-inducing. I got scared. Specifically, I got scared because you had to take this form because of me. I went around giving benediction to Hiranyakashipu. I should have been little thoughtful. So my Lord, please forgive me. I was the culprit. Because of me, Hiranyakashipu got the benedictions that I wouldn't be killed by a human or an animal inside the house, outside the house, in the air, water or soil. I wouldn't be killed during the day or at night. I wouldn't be killed in any of the circumstances, as we are aware of in the 7th canto Bhagavatam. And Brahmaji, he picked up water from his water pot and he sprinkled on Hiranyakashipu and benedicted him with the fulfillment of these boons. So now Brahma, when he came to our Narasimha Dev and said, please forgive me that I have given this benediction, as a result of which I have lost 4 Vedas because I dozed off. Please kindly benedict me. Kindly benedict me to get the 4 Vedas back. Narasimha Dev said, I will give you the Vedas, but I'll give you only 3 Vedas. I'll punish you by keeping 1 Veda with me. Because you frivolously, without thinking, you gave benediction to Hiranyakashipu, and I had to then scratch my head to keep your words intact, to keep Prahlad's words intact, and at the same time come and destroy Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, as punishment, I'll keep 1 Veda with me. I'll keep the Atharva Veda with me, and Rig, Sama and Yajur, I'll give it to you. So Brahma became a little scared now. He was thinking, I cannot negotiate with Narsimha Dev for the 4th Veda, but at the same time, I need the 4th Veda. So what do I do? So when the father is angry, one goes and pacifies the mother. So Brahmaji came to the lotus feet of Lakshmi Devi and offered his obeisances to Lakshmi Devi and said, I am your child. I am born from the womb of Narayana, which means Narayana is my father and you are my mother. Narasimha Dev is my father, but he is in a Ugra Roop. Therefore, O mother, I take shelter of you. I have made a mistake, but I promise in the future I will be very thoughtful before I give a benediction. Please kindly speak to Narasimha Dev and bring me my 4th Veda back. So Lakshmi Devi came to Ahobila Kshetram. She performed intense tapasya to cool down and pacify Narasimha Dev. And when Narasimha Dev was pacified by the very sincere, very affectionate samadhi or penance of Lakshmi Devi, Narasimha Dev said, Oh Lakshmi, what do you desire? Lakshmi Devi said, as the mother, I desire the happiness of my first child. May Brahmaji get his 4th Veda. So Narasimha Dev in all happiness gave the Atharva Veda also to Brahma and situated himself with Lakshmi Devi there. Brahma came and offered his obeisances to Lakshmi and Narasimha. Because Narasimha, Lola means to please, to frolic, to have a nice time. And Ma is another name for wealth or Lakshmi Devi. Because Ma or Lakshmi Devi is the cause for pacifying Narasimha Dev, and Narasimha Dev very happily is sporting with Lakshmi Devi here. Therefore, he's called Ma Lola Narasimha. Ma is the Pujari of the Ma Lola Narasimha temple also described that Ma is the short form of the word Mata. Because Brahma came to Lakshmi Devi and said, "You are my mother, Mata." Because that Mata went and tried to speak to Narasimha Dev, therefore Ma Lola. Narasimha happily he frolics with Lakshmi Devi, or the mother of Brahma there. So therefore that is called as the Ma Lola Narasimha. Now apart from this, there is also a very, very beautiful significance here. The Atharva Veda is having a section called as the Vanaspati or Vanaushadi Shastra, where it speaks about herbs. It talks about the Aushadi found in the forest. So it is described that Narasimha Dev read through the Atharva Veda and he created a forest as explained in the Atharva Veda, and he situated himself there. So Ahobila Kshetram we see is filled with a lot of trees. Vanaushadi or Vanaspati means herbs and trees. So therefore from that story of the Atharva Veda, that story of Narasimha Dev holding the Atharva Veda, which has the section of the Vanaushadi or Vanaspati, therefore Narasimha Dev is in Ahobala Kshetram very specifically as Malola Narasimha. Now we see in Ahobala Kshetram there is the Ahobala Mutt, which is very famous in other places of the country also. Even in Mumbai we see the Ahobala Mutt. This is the mutt managed by the Shri Sampradaya, followers of Sripad Ramanujacharya, coming down, Vedanta Deshika, and so many others. It so happened that the Ahobala Mutt there in Ahobalam, it comes down the Shri Sampradaya line of Guru to disciple, and he becomes the Guru and disciple. But then after some time, there was a gap in service. So then the story goes that there was a Grihastha in the community in whose dream Narasimha Dev appeared. And Narasimha Dev came and he said, "You please come and see me. I want to give you sannyas." So very scary instruction. You can't say a yes if you're a Grihastha, and you can't say no if it is Narasimha. So Narasimha Dev comes in the dream and tells this Grihastha, "Please come." He comes in the dream and says, "Please come and have darshan. I will give you sannyas." So he goes to see Narasimha Dev. And Narasimha Dev, he actually gives sannyas to this Grihastha. He chants the sannyas mantra in his ear and gives him the sannyas name. His name is the sannyasi who was given sannyas when Narasimha Dev was given the name Shata Gopendran. Jir means the sannyasi, or the most prominent authority in the mutt. So this was his name given. So now when he started preaching, being a sannyasi, people respected, people appreciated, and it was so beautiful that after he started preaching, many started coming to serve Narasimha Dev there. He held that position of being the Mathadish, the most prominent person in that Ahobalam Mutt in Ahobalam Kshetra for 60 years as a Sri Vaishnav sannyasi. And then his followers continued slowly and gradually. They continued this parampara of preaching about Narasimha Dev, getting more and more servants for the seva of Narasimha Dev, glorifying Narasimha Dev. Then it so happened, after a few years of service, one fine devotee in that line, he got a dream, because they were all preaching as sannyasis. So he got a dream where Narasimha Dev appeared again, and he said that I want, before my service was stopped, so I started off by giving sannyas to this devotee, and now it's going on good. But now I want that a form of Narasimha Dev, a deity of Narasimha Dev, should be carried by the sannyasis everywhere when they go for preaching. They should keep the deity, worship the deity, and speak about Narasimha Dev to bring everyone to the feet of Narasimha Dev, to sing the glories and praise Narasimha Dev everywhere. So now this person started thinking, this sannyasi started thinking, there are so many Narasimha temples here, and they all have Utsava murtis, small murtis. So then which murti are we supposed to carry for our preaching? So he sat to meditate. And as he kept on meditating on Narasimha, it is described that Malola Narsimha, the Narsimha that we just mentioned, that Utsava Murti came walking to this sannyasi and said, you should accept me. So therefore the sannyasi, he got clarification and confirmation that in his traveling and preaching, he should accept Malola Narsimha in the form of the Utsava Murti and take him around to speak. So from that time around, it's been 45 generations coming down till this very day. And whenever sannyasis from that Ahobila Mutt and from that area, they walk around to preach, they carry Malul Narsimha. So that original sannyasi whom we mentioned, who was given sannyas mantra in the ear, he got connected to Malul Narsimha. Now it was Malul Narsimha who initiated him, and his generation has been coming down. It's Malul Narsimha, and it was Malul Narsimha who walked to the sadhu in the disciplic line, and from that time around, whenever the sannyasi travels, Malul Narsimha is carried. So therefore, Malul Narsimha is very prominent in Ahobala Kshetra. So that is the 7th Narsimha to be described. Now the 8th Narsimha out of the Nava Narsimha is Jwala Narsimha. Now we know the word Jwala refers to a volcano. So this Narsimha is that form of Narsimha where the Supreme Lord's anger has hit the roof, the maximum peak. We cannot imitate the Lord and get angry. When we get angry, Krodat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramsha buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Tribidam narakasyedam, dwaram nashanam atmanaha, kama kroda tatha lobha, tasmad etat trayam tyajet. Repeatedly we see in the Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is anger, the person is only making his way towards destruction. Anger, as we know, is one letter short of the word danger. Therefore, Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita has said, Krodha Vegam. One of the 6 urges to control is the urge of getting angry. When we get angry, forget about doing something to teach others a lesson. We get angry, we get heart attack, we die. So it's almost like holding a ball of fire. Before we throw to the other person, our hands are burnt. This is anger. It destroys the person who gets angry more than the person at whom the anger is supposed to be aimed at. So that is our anger. It is prakrita anger. It is materialistic, selfish, egocentric anger. But the Lord's anger is transcendental, divya, aprakrita, completely spiritual. So here it is described that this form represents Narsimhadev in his complete ultimate limit of anger. So imagine, Narsimhadev is the Ghora Roop, as Gajendra says in his Stuti, Namaha Shantaya Ghoraya Mudhaya Guna Dharmine Nirvisheshaya Samyaya Namo Jnana Ghanaya Cha. Although the Supreme Lord is Shanta, as Vishnu, he is Shantakaram, which means his form is very, very Shanta Akaram, very pleasing. He has nice 4 hands and he has Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, very nice, beautiful lotus-like eyes, and Kaustu Mani and Shri Vatsa Mark and Pitambar Dhoti, and very, very beautiful. Sashankha Chakram, Sakirita Kundalam, Sapita Vastram, Sarasiru Hekshanam, Sahara Vakshasthala Shobhi Kaustubam, Namami Vishnum Shirasa Chaturbhujam. So the Supreme Lord is very pleasing, his form. Also, his nature is also Shanta. Imagine, Bhujaga Shayanam, he's sleeping on the bed of snakes. We see an earthworm and we get scared. We see a rat and we get scared. We see a cockroach, we get scared. We see a lizard, we get scared. Imagine a snake. The Lord is sleeping on the bed of snakes and he's getting sleep also, which means how peaceful he is in his heart. When Bhrigumuni came and kicked the chest, the Lord was still peaceful. So that Lord, Gajendra says, although that Lord is Shanta, he can become Ghora also, like Narasimha. So when the Supreme Lord's anger hits the peak, the ultimate threshold, it crosses the threshold, that is called Jwala Narsimha. He is anger personified. So we see the Supreme Lord, he gets angry not when he is criticized, but when his pure devotees are tormented. Imagine Prahlad Maharaj, how such a kind-hearted, such a simple-hearted, such a sincere, serious, dedicated, surrendered devotee. At the age of 5, He's put through so many tests. Not one word, not one verse in the Bhagavatam where Prahlad is saying, my Lord, I'm doing so much. Why do bad things happen to good people? We don't suffer so much. Still, when we preach and we do the journey of self-discovery course, one of the sessions is why do bad things happen to good people? And maximum participants are there on that session because everybody wants to know why bad things are happening to good people like me. So we see that although we are not suffering so much, we have self-sympathy and we think, yes, I'm suffering so much. But Prahlad Maharaj was actually put through so much test. It is described when Hiranyakashipu completely failed in killing Prahlad through all ways, whether attacking with weapons or throwing him in a pit of poisonous snakes or at a stampede of elephants or putting him in boiling oil or through holika and so many ways by throwing him from the cliff. When none of that worked, the Narsimha Puran describes that that Hiranyakashipu, he told his wife Kayadu that when the father is failing, the mother should succeed. Kayadu said, what do you want me to do? So Hiranyakashipu said, what I want you to do is I want you to make kheer for Prahlad. I want you to make nice white sweet rice, kheer for Prahlad. But the twist is you have to put poison in there. You have to lovingly call your son and feed him poison. Kayadu said, you kill me instead. I cannot give poison to my son. He is my son. Hiranyakashipu said, you are his mother second, but you are my wife first. So you better listen to me. So Kayadu, being helpless, she offered that poisonous kheer to Prahlad. And when Prahlad Maharaj came and he saw that pot of kheer, on that white kheer, which is mixed with poison, Prahlad Maharaj saw Vishnu sleeping on the ocean of milk. And Vishnu told Prahlad, you have me. Don't worry, nothing will happen to you. Prahlad Maharaj had it. And in fact, his ecstasy just doubled. Therefore, Shukdev Goswami says, Krishna Graha Grihitatma. Prahlad Maharaj was haunted by a planet in his astrological chart. What was that name of that planet? The name of that planet was Krishna Graha, the planet of Krishna. Krishna Graha Grihitatma. He was embraced by a planet called Krishna. He was haunted by a planet called Krishna. Therefore, wherever he saw, he was only seeing Krishna. He didn't have Shani or Rahu or Ketu problems, but he was transcendently haunted by a ghost, by a planet called Shri Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj, although he went through so much struggle, he even went through poisoning, he still never complained. Not once did he say, why do bad things happen to good people like me? Oh my Lord, I'm only 5 years old. Why you're testing me so much? Nor did he ever blame Hiranyakashipu, criticize him, complain about circumstances. So he never blamed, he never complained, never criticized. Every time we write an email and we see CC and BCC, blind carbon copy, we should remember that BCC means no blaming, no complaining, no criticizing. We are only getting the results of our own karma. People are only instruments. If I take a bottle in my hand and I hit my head, the bottle is not responsible. My hand is holding the bottle. Therefore, my karma is bringing in reactions through different mediums. Imagine the person whom we love the most, his only agenda in life is to murder us. That is our father. Prahlad Maharaj is not even going out and trying to hide from Hiranyakashipu. He is living in the same house. Imagine if we feel sleepy and we know somebody at our home is making plan to kill us. Will we get sleep? We will not get sleep. But Prahlad Maharaj got sleep. Why? Because he was completely surrendered to Krishna. He had no bhaya. Absolutely no bhaya. In this world, we are always having bhaya. Always we have bhaya. Bhoge roga bhayam. If we have bhoga, if we have sense gratification, then we have roga bhayam. Oh, what if I get diseased? Then my sense gratification will stop. And kule chuti bhayam. If we have high birth, we always are fearing, what if I get defamed? What if I become a black spot in my family? Right? Bhoge roga bhayam kule chuti bhayam. If we have high aristocratic birth, we are always thinking that, oh, I will somehow do something and put my family down in shame. We are always thinking like this. And at the same time, If we are having bala, dainya bhayam, we are always mane dainya bhayam. If we have respect in society, we are always fearing, what if I get criticized? And bale ripu bhayam. If we are very strong, we are always fearing an enemy. And at the same time, when we have a lot of wealth, we are fearing there will be theft. In this way, in this world, sarvam bhayanvitam. This world, everything is filled with bhayam, except for one thing, Vishnu pada nirbhayam. Only the feet of Vishnu, the abode of Vishnu, and the lotus feet which takes us to that abode of Vishnu is nirbhayam. Everything else is bhayanvitam. We are always afraid. You see, if no fear is there, at least we have the fear of kritanta bhayam, that we will at least die. Ultimately, the fear of everyone is death. But sarve, in this world, everything is bhayanvitam. But the only thing which is not filled with bhaya is Vishnu padam nirbhayam. Only the lotus feet of Vishnu grants nirbhayam, nirbhayata, or fearlessness. Shri Nandanandana, bhaja huremana Shri Nandanandana, abhaya charanarvindare. By worshipping Shri Hari, one becomes fearless. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, the first transcendental divine quality is abhayam sattva samshuddhim jnana yoga vyavastitihi danam damascha yajnascha swadhyaya stapa arja ahimsa satyam akrodha tyaga shantira paishunam daya bhuteshva loluptvam mardhavam hirachapalam. Krishna says in the 16th chapter, the first divine quality is abhayam. One becomes fearless. Even Prabhupada said in the purports of the Bhagavatam that when one worships Krishna to the extent one is surrendered, one becomes fearless, even of death. And Prahlad Maharaj was the direct epitome of this point. He was never afraid of anything. Absolutely not afraid of anything, because he saw Krishna in all forms. So we were mentioning that the Supreme Lord always comes when his devotees are tormented. Otherwise, he has no problem. When he personally is criticized or tormented, he has no problem. But he comes, Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha adrishta tatyad bhutarupam udvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. He appears only to prove the words of Prahlad right, that yes, I am in this pillar. Hiranyakashipu was convinced that Vishnu cannot be in this pillar. Why did Hiranyakashipu ask for the pillar? Because Hiranyakashipu himself had built the whole palace. So if someone has built a palace or a kingdom, he exactly knows what the materials are and who has built it. So therefore Hiranyakashipu asked, is Vishnu everywhere? Prahlad said everywhere. He said, what about this pillar? He was convinced in this pillar, because I know I have built it. There is no Vishnu inside. How about this pillar? And when he asked Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad looked very carefully. And at that time, Narsimha Dev winked at Prahlad Maharaj. He winked his eye. And at the same time, he was warming up and stretching enough his body for a very wonderful gymnastic act. So Prahlad smiled and he said, yes, the Lord is inside also. And when Hiranyakashipu broke that pillar, Bhukhandam Varanandam Paravara Viratam Dampadam Poru Dampam Dhim 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 Dahamapi Dahamai Jhampa Jhampaish Jhampaihi Tulyas Tulyas Tulya Dhuma Dhuma Dhumakai Kumkumankai Kumankai Etatte Purna Yuktam Ahar Ahar Ahaha Patumam Narasimham Garjantam Garjayantam Nijabuja Patalam Spotayantam Hatantam Rupyantam Tapayantam Divi Bhuvi Ditijam Kshepayantam Kshipantam Krandantam Roshayantam Dishi Dishi Satatam Samharantam Bharantam Vikshantam Purnayantam Kara Nikara Shatair Divya Simham Namami. How beautifully the Lord appeared. In fact, it is described when he appeared, Hiranyakashipu was shocked. He was shocked and scared. Just like Garuda was playing with the snakes, Hiranyakashipu was being played with by Narasimha Dev. Narasimha Dev had to do time pass because he appeared in noon, at noon time. And he was given the benediction. Hiranyakashipu was given the benediction that neither day nor night, which means the Supreme Lord had 6 hours from noon to dusk to do some time pass and play with Hiranyakashipu. When we do time pass, it is really time pass. But when the Lord does time pass, it becomes a pastime. So the Lord was playing with Hiranyakashipu. But demigods are scared, so scared. It is described when Narasimha Dev appeared, how ferocious he was looking. He was a 16-handed Shodasha Bahu Narsimha. 16-handed. And in his hands, he had everything. Shankabja Chakra, Sharachapa, Gadasi Hastam. It has been described what all he had in his hand. Shanka. Shanka means concha. Abja, lotus. Shankabja Chakra, Sudarshan Chakra, the disc. Sharachapa. He also had bow and arrow in his hand. At the same time, Gada. Gada means club. Asi. Asi means he also had a sword. So Shankabja Chakra Sharachapa Gadasi Hastam. In his hands he had all of this. So horrifying. And his tongue was like a serpent slithering out of his mouth. And as he was fighting Hiranyakashipu and there was blood all over his face, the tongue of Narasimha was coming out and licking all the blood from his golden mane and hair on his face. Very, very fear-inducing for the demigods. His nails were very, very sharp. Very sharp. Sometimes Matajis in this world itself, they have long nails and it is really scary. Sometimes you deal with them, you have to take even prasad from their hand. You're a little scared with long nails. Imagine Narasimha, really big, powerful. So much so that just one hit and finished. Animals in this world, wild cats, tigers and lions in this world are so ferocious. Imagine if a lion is sitting next to me, will I be speaking like this? I'll not be able to. I'll just switch off the call and say Hari Bol and try to run. The lion is sitting next to me. Imagine a lion sitting next to me is roaring with his mouth wide open, thunderous roar. And that's a lion of this world. Imagine God when he comes as a lion. It is unbelievable. We cannot imagine. His golden form tinged with the red blood drops. For us, when we touch blood, we have to bathe. According to Hari Bhakti Vilas, when we touch bones or blood or stool, we have to bathe. But for the Lord, the blood doesn't become a dosha or a fault. It becomes an Aishwarya, Abhushanam. It becomes an ornament in his personality, augmenting and increasing Veerras. So it is described the Lord actually comes in this form, in a fear-inducing form, when his devotees are insulted, criticized. So why didn't the Lord come for Prahlad Maharaj before? Well, he wanted to show the world how much a devotee can tolerate for the Lord's pleasure. We can learn so much from Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is always speaking the truth. Yet at the same time, he is offering obeisances to Shanda and Amarka, offering obeisances to Hiranyakashipu, not fearing, always speaking the truth, performing bhajan from the womb, preaching even to his classmates. And now he is speaking prayers, looking at the face of Narasimha. How amazing is that? How amazing. This is Jwala. Volcanic flames are coming out. And Prahlad Maharaj is fearless. He's standing there. He's standing there. So this is very wonderful that the Lord comes immediately. But he sometimes may have a delay just to show the glories of pure devotees in this world. Till one point it is Leela. The Lord can see how the devotee is teaching the whole world by practical example. How much Haridas Thakur could tolerate. How much Pandavas could tolerate. How much Hanuman could tolerate by having his tail set on fire. How much Mother Kunti could tolerate. How much Gajendra could tolerate. How much your Dhruva and Prahlad are tolerating. These are only stories to show us, historical, transcendental tales to show us that without tolerance, we cannot win the heart of the Supreme Lord. We really want him, and that can be tested when there is reversal in life. When everything is favorable, the waves are going, the tides and waves are going steady, there is no problem in swimming ahead. But when we have to swim across current, when it is going the other way, we are not able to hold ourselves. Oh, that is very difficult. So similarly, when everything is steady, and there is no storm, there are no tides, very fast to swim in spiritual life. But we get tested, our spiritual life gets tested when we are opposed. So Prahlad Maharaj at repeated torturous situations, he still continued. So he teaches the world for time to come that this is how we get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So when that point comes where the Supreme Lord thinks, oh, Leela, till now I stopped because it is Leela and teaching the whole world. But now I cannot wait anymore. How dare he speak like this to my devotee? How dare he act like this to my devotee? when the Lord decides that enough is enough, now enough of teaching the world lessons, I am going to step down and show this rascal what happens when you ill-treat and in a misappropriate way you deal with my devotees. So that form is represented here as Jwala Narsimha in Ahobala Kshetra. The ninth Narsimha and the most prominent Narsimha is called Ahobala Narsimha, or called as Ugra Narsimha. So what is the difference between Jwala Narsimha and Ugra Narsimha? Jwala Narsimha is the mood where the Lord gets angry, and Ugra Narsimha is where he goes and acts on it. Like that. That is Ugra Narsimha. So Ugra Narsimha or Ahobala Narsimha is the most ancient deity in Ahobala Kshetra and is the main deity of Ahobala Kshetra. So when we speak about Ahobala Narsimha and there is no other mention, that naturally means we are talking about Ugra Narsimha. So Ugra Narsimha is that form of the Lord where he not just comes from the pillar, but he takes Hiranyakashipu on his lap and he tears him into pieces. It is described that the Lord was thinking that if I throw Hiranyakashipu on the floor, Mother Earth will sink back to Patal and Varahadev has to come again because the weight of his sins is so much. And if I throw him in the sky will reject him because of his sins. The demigods will run away. If I throw him into water, there is a problem. If I throw him into land, there is a problem. If I throw him into fire, he will not burn because fire will think that this is contamination. I will not accept. So Narsimhadev was thinking, Bhumi, Apaha, Anala, Vayu, Kham. Earth, water, fire, air, ether will reject Hiranyakashipu if I throw him. Therefore, although he is sinful, the place where I should keep him is my lap. Ultimately, he is my creation. He is my Jai and Vijay. So thinking like that, the Supreme Lord held him on his lap and he ripped him through his chest and pulled the intestine. It is described the Lord as he ripped the abdomen of Hiranyakashipu, he removed the heart of Hiranyakashipu and he asked Hiranyakashipu, because Hiranyakashipu was dead of course, but he asked Hiranyakashipu that why did you keep your heart so dirty? This is my resting place. Just like we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he speaks to Amogha, the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Amogha was very envious of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was envious of the devotees in general, but very specifically Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasad, and there also Amogha had come and passed some slanderous comments on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as a result of which, he fell ill with diseases, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invoked by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came running there and he touched the heart of Amogha, not just relieved him from the disease, but gave him love of Godhead. He said, I am giving you love of Godhead because you're somehow connected to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Just like the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he rescued Kaliya because he was somehow related to the Nagapatnis who were devotees. So somehow if we are closely connected to pure devotees through some connection and they have some affection for us, then we have some scope of advancement. So then at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he touched the chest of Amogha and he said, the heart is actually the sitting place of Sri Hari. How did you manage to make it so dirty with envy and dirty negative feelings towards the Vaishnavas? Similarly, here Narsimha Devi ripped the heart and he asked Hiranyakashipu, how did you manage to make it so dirty? And he threw the heart away. But he accepted the intestines and he wrapped it around his neck. Some acharyas comment that when Hiranyakashipu spoke with intensity, he didn't speak from his throat, he spoke from his abdomen. So two words which he spoke with intensity was Prahlad and Vishnu. Other words he spoke from his throat because everybody feared him. So there was no need to invoke with so much emotion. Just the speaking from the throat was enough. But whenever he spoke Vishnu, whenever he spoke Prahlad, it came from his abdomen. So Hiranyakashipu's body was dirty, but his intestines were pure, according to Narasimha Dev, because they were always reverberating the name Prahlad and Vishnu and Prahlad and Vishnu. Therefore, the Lord accepted those intestines as garlands. It is interesting that when a guest comes, we should offer at least a sitting place, a garland and some water. But when Narsimha Dev came, he was so terrific. His form was so horrifying that everyone forgot to come close to him. In fact, even Lakshmi Devi was asked, look how your husband is so angry, you go and pacify. Lakshmi Devi said, he's not my husband. He's not the one whom I married. I married the person who's peacefully sleeping on the bed of snakes. So why did Lakshmi Devi say this? Lakshmi Devi has seen Narsimha even in previous kalpas. And at the same time, in the eternal Vaikuntha planets, Lakshmi Devi is always there with Narsimha in Narsimha Loka. But at that time, there was a curtain of Yoga Maya so that Prahlad Maharaj's glories can be extolled. If Lakshmi Devi goes and pacifies the Supreme Lord, how will Prahlad Maharaj's glory be extolled to the world? If Yudhishthir Maharaj in the Mahabharata, after the battlefield of Kurukshetra, after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Yudhishthir Maharaj is lamenting, Krishna tried pacifying, but he was not pacified. Why? If Krishna pacified Yudhishthir Maharaj wouldn't have gone to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev wouldn't have convinced him, and the glories of Bhishma Dev would not have been spread. So therefore, Krishna and Vyasadeva also tried, but Yudhishthir Maharaj was not pacified. He was later on pacified by the words of Bhishma Dev. So to spread the glories of the devotees, sometimes Yoga Maya curtains are drawn. So Lakshmi Devi was covered so that Prahlad Maharaj's glories can be sung far and wide in this world. The Supreme Lord ripped Hiranyakashipu and he picked up the intestines. So the intestines became the garland. Hiranyakashipu's asan became the asan for Narasimha Dev, and his blood from the body became the water to drink. No one was coming close to the Supreme Lord. So in this way, Hiranyakashipu was ripped. And the Supreme Lord Narasimha Dev was still not done. He was still ready for more fight, and more thousands and thousands of soldiers of Hiranyakashipu went to attack. And like flies flying into the fire flame, they all were run through the sharp teeth and sharp nails. Vajra Nakha and Tikshna Damshtra. The sharp nails and sharp teeth of Narasimha Dev. So Ugra Ahobala Narasimha is that form where he has destroyed Hiranyakashipu with so much ugra, with so much intensity. Ugra Simha, Mahasimha, Ranasimha Maheshwara. The Narsimha Sahasranamam describes, 1000 names of Narasimha Dev describes that he is Ugra Simha, he is Mahasimha, and he is Ranasimha. He is a wild lion, ready to fight. But he is Maheshwara, he is the Supreme Lord. So after he destroyed Hiranyakashipu there, very close to Ugra Ahobala Narasimha is Rakta Kund, is a water where Narasimha Dev came and washed his hands. Also we see Narsingapalli, the very holy place in Navadvip, where there are similar pastimes. The Lord has come to Navadvip to perform similar pastimes in different kalpas. Sometimes we see different places are having the footprint of Narasimha Dev and the pillars of Narasimha Dev. And there are ponds which are reddish. The water is reddish even now, like Rakta Kund in Ugra Ahobala Narasimha. It's the place where Narsimha Dev washed the blood in his hands, and therefore the water has some blood stains even now, reddish complexion even now. So like that, there are many places, and sometimes people ask, which is the authentic one? Well, the answer is everything is authentic. In different kalpas, the Lord has appeared in different places and performed his holy pastimes. So therefore, Narasimha Dev in these 9 forms is residing very beautifully in Ahobala Kshetram. And he is ready to offer one progress in Navada Bhakti. These 9 Narasimhas also represent the 9 limbs of devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These 9 Narasimhas also represent the 9 stages of devotional advancement. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. Therefore, we should try and aspire and yearn and desire to go to Ahobala Kshetram to purify our consciousness. Narasimha Dev is so dear even in the Gaudiya Parampara, Gaudiya Siddhanta, that our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took great relish in hearing the pastimes of Narasimha Dev with Gadadhar Pandit at Tota Gopinath in Jagannath Puri. Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would discuss Bhagavatam 3 hours every afternoon. And Gadadhar Pandit would read the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say again. And 108 times this Narasimha Leela was discussed by Gadadhar Pandit and relished by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has been mentioned as Gaurasimha by Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, because he has 5 aspects very similar to Narasimhadev. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Narasimhadev have the similarity. First is they both have a golden complexion. Second, like a lion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has hair coming down his shoulder. 3, like a lion, our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has broad chest and thin waist. Like Narasimhadev, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 4 roars. What does he roar? The lion, Narasimhadev, he roars for protecting his devotees. But our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he roars the names of Sri Hari. When elephant-like lust sit in the cave of one's heart, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like a lion, comes and roars in the cave of one's heart and drives the elephant of lust away by his loud roaring nature. And the 5th, like a lion, which is represented by Leo or Simha Rashi in astrology, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Leo star constellation. He appeared in the Simha Rashi. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Gaudiya Parampara has very close affinity, love and correlation to Narasimhadev. Also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written very beautiful prayers in Bengali glorifying Narasimhadev and how Narasimhadev protects the creeper of devotion. Our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also established a Narasimhadev at Yogapeeth, at the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also when he sent his sannyasis, disciples to Europe for preaching, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave them the Narsimha Kavacha, so that they can chant the Narsimha Kavacha and protect themselves from lusty pushings in the heart, especially in the Western world. Finally, our Srila Prabhupada also stressed tremendously on Narasimhadev. As we know, when Srila Prabhupada was preaching far and wide, there were a lot of oppositions in the preaching movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada, he said, you should worship Narasimhadev. Also in 1972, when Srila Prabhupada fell ill, he said, you should offer prayers to Narasimhadev. It was Prabhupada who collaborated, who not collaborated, but he synthesized, he got together 2 different compositions. The Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Ahlada Daine Giranya Kashipu Vakshaha Shila Tanka Nakhalaye Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Yato Yato Yami Tatho Narasimha Bahihi Narasimha Ridaye Narasimha Narasimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye were the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Tavakara Kamalavare Nakhamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanubhringam Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare are the words of Jaidev Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada got both of them together and called it as Narasimha Arti, so that the preaching mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can be protected at the same time. So not just the devotees being protected, the preaching being protected, even Prabhupada's personal health can be protected in ripe old age. This is why we see, following this instruction in Mayapur, when the dacoits, of course now Mayapur is very well developed and such a big temple with thousands of devotees. But in the initial early days, when dacoits would come in with guns and knives to steal the deities and the ornaments of the deities, devotees would also try to fight back. And there were bullets being exchanged. And that is when Param Pujyapad, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, lost his leg in this battle protecting Radha Madhav Ashtasakhi. So even now you see, he doesn't have one leg. That one leg he offered it to Krishna when the dacoits came to steal ornaments from the deities. So after that, the temple management decided that we will install Narasimhadev to protect the devotees and to even protect Radha Madhav. So Ugra Narsimha was decided. But however, because this Ugra Narsimha is such a ferocious form of Narsimha, no sthapati or shilpakar, no sculptor was ready to carve this form, because the features of this form are very particularly designed. Even his posture is very particular. His face expression, his mood is very particular. It must not change. So no one agreed to sculpt this. Then finally, one sculptor, when he got to know that this was for Prabhupada's ISKCON temple in Mayapur, he agreed. So after 6 months, when Atma Tattva Prabhu went there to check, he said, is the deity ready? He said, what to speak of ready? The Shilpakar said, I have not even found the stone to carve this deity in. So Atma Tattva Prabhu said, what do you mean stone? You just take any stone and you make Narsimha Dev. So the Shilpakar said, that's not how it works. We need a living stone. It has a few symptoms. The living stone has a few symptoms. It has a few markings. Only on that stone can we worship, can we carve Ugra Narsimha. We cannot do it otherwise. So then he took some time and carved this form. And one day he called up ISKCON Mayapur and said, please take your Narsimha as soon as possible. He is ready to come to you. He is so intensely horrifying that he has set the whole godown on fire. He has set all my things kept here in the godown on fire. That is the way he communicates. He doesn't communicate on terms like Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. He either make or break. So he burnt my whole shed, my whole godown. So you please take Ugra Narsimha. So Ugra Narsimha was got to Mayapur, ISKCON Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. And from that day onwards, we see Radha Madhav are safe, the devotees are safe. In fact, Narsimha Dev is having such loving reciprocation with the devotees. Pankajangri Prabhu has come up with books and classes on the pastimes of Narsimha Dev. And very specifically, which form of Ugra Narsimha is he? He is Sthanu Narsimha. Sthanu means to stand. So he has just come from the pillar and he's ready to murder Hiranyakashipu. So Sthanu, that is the standing position. So in the Ugra also we have the sitting position and the standing position. The standing position of Ugra Narsimha is called Sthanu Narsimha. So in this way, following our parampara, coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the 6 Goswamis, and now Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Prabhupada. And then in ISKCON we see Mayapur. We have very wonderful shelter of taking, we have very wonderful opportunity of taking shelter of Narsimha Dev. So I request all the devotees to kindly worship Narsimha Dev, pray to Narsimha Dev, remember Narsimha Dev, chant Narsimha Kavacha, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in front of your Narsimha Dev. And before going to sleep, remember Narsimha Dev so that bad dreams don't torment us. And our spiritual life is protected. Our body is protected so that the longer we live free from illness, we can serve the Lord. And in this way, even though we all did not go to Ahobilam physically, through this call, we see about 500 devotees on the Zoom call, devotees on YouTube, and about 40 devotees here on Facebook. We literally had, a yatra that we can say through sound vibration, because that is a very authentic way to have darshan. Darshan is not through eyes, but through ears. So in this way, Ahobala Kshetram has been very kind and merciful to us to reveal the Nava Narsimhas to us on Narsimha Chaturdasi. As we wrap up, we will chant a very beautiful prayer to Ahobala Narsimha. You can all chant in your own places. Please, you can kindly hear, and wherever you are, you can chant. Varaha Vamana Nrasimha Subhagyam Isham Krida Vilola Hridayam Vibhudendra Vandyam Hamsatmakam Paramahamsa Manoviharam Vande Kripanidhimaho Balanarasimham. Very, very beautiful prayer. What does that mean? Varaha, Vamana, Nrasimha, Subhagyamisham. These forms of the Lord, Varaha, Vamana, Nrasimha, Subhagyamisham, they are the Lords coming to give us auspiciousness, Subhagyam. And at the same time, what does Narsimha Dev do? Krida Vilola Hridayam Vibhudendra Vandhyam. Krida Vilola Hridayam. He plays in the heart. Vilola, Krida. He plays sports in the heart. Hridayam. And at the same time, Vibhudendra Vandyam. He is worshipped and worshipable. He is worshipped by the demigods. He is worshipable for everyone. And very specifically, he is worshipped by all the demigods. And at the same time, Hamsatmakam, Paramahamsa Manoviharam. Those devotees who are Paramahamsa, those who are pure devotees, their heart is very soft and it is free flowing like water. So Narasimha Dev is like a royal swan sporting in the pond of the bhav of those who are like swan-like devotees, very pure in this world. Therefore, Vande Kripa Nidhim, the ocean of Karuna, Kripa, mercy, Vande Kripa Nidhim, Aho Bala Narasimham. I bow down to that Aho Bala Narasimha, who's all merciful and who is playing in the heart as a swan of the swan-like devotees, who is very dear to Lakshmi Devi, who is worshipped by the demigods, who is very, very auspicious. We are very safe, very lucky to be under the lotus shade, the shelter of Narasimha Dev. What can happen to us? What strength in this world can stop us from spreading the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Even if we have physical illness, who else can protect us other than Narasimha Dev? Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke. If Narsimha Dev is protecting us, who can destroy us? And if Narsimha Dev decides to destroy us because we belong to him, who can protect us? So in this way, on this Narsimha Chaturdashi, we remember the Nava Murtis. The Nava Murtis. So we repeat the shloka again. Jwala Hobala Malola Kroda Karanja Bhargava Yogananda Kshatravata Pavano Navamurtayah. These are the Navamurtis of Ahobala Kshetra. I really want to thank all the devotees for kindly participating. I wish and hope and pray and desire that your faith, love, attachment to Narasimha Dev may have increased. Whatever I have spoken, I am simply speaking the inherited property coming from our acharyas in our parampara line. Whatever mistakes I may have made in my presentation or in the flow of my thoughts or in my intentions, they are only the reflection of my shortcomings. Hopefully, you will all pray for me on Narsimha Chaturdashi so that the Supreme Lord protects me physically, mentally, emotionally, materially, and spiritually, so that the Supreme Lord keeps me at his lotus feet so that I can continue to serve Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. Therefore, Shri Narahari, Shri Gaurahari ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. I offer the call back to the admin on the call here on Zoom, and for all the devotees joining on Facebook, thank you so much for your kind association.
Hare Krishna, Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you very much again for this wonderful presentation. I would like to actually request our senior devotee, His Grace Sumudra Chaitanya Prabhu, to express our gratitude to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat from ISKCON Bari, full congregation.
Hare Krishna.
It is again wonderful to hear from you, and especially today, we were blessed to hear the 9 process of bhakti through the 9 forms of Lord Narasimha Dev, because usually Prahlad is glorified as Smaranam in the Nama with Bhakti, but today we were enlightened by you for the 9 process of bhakti through the 9 forms of Lord Narasimha Deva. 1.5 hours, 90 minutes, we were blessed to hear, and thank you very much. I hope His Grace Balaram Prabhu will bless us again by facilitating more classes of yours in the very near future. And definitely on this day, we all will pray for your also spiritual advancement, and also on return we'll beg you to bless for us also and pray for our spiritual advancement. And all the devotees who have participated in Balaramdesh, and also South Rundan devotees are there, and also those who are hearing elsewhere from India, the world, please pray for all of us. Thank you, Prabhuji.
My obeisances to each one of you. My prayers to Prahlad Narasimha Dev, that just like Prahlad Maharaj was fearless, may the devotees become fearless, and may the intestines of Hiranyakashipu, which are entangled in our heart, may be uprooted by Narasimha Dev today. May we never leave the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara. May we continue. May the palms of Narasimha Dev protect and nourish our devotion, and may the nails of Narasimha Dev remove our anarthas.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, again. And once again, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to Sharat Prabhu, Bahurupa Prabhu, and Siddha Gauranga Prabhu from Avatari Desh, who actually allowed us to actually participate in this program along with them. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Narsingadev Bhagwan ki.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your association. This is the third time we are having your association, especially on this auspicious day. And you have taken us to Ahobilam. We just called our visit to Ahobilam a couple of years back. So it was really amazing and wonderful to have you. Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Siddha Gauranga Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I will end the meeting now. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.